Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Film Snobbery Live. I'm your host, Nic Baisley. We were all just laughing here because the epicness of the theme music, if you guys haven't heard it, which actually may be changing in the near future, along with the entire opening credits. We've been kind of toying around and talking to people and trying to see, like, hey, how can we do something cool and different? And so there may be some stuff in the future happening with that. So I'm excited. What else am I excited for? I'm excited because this is episode 98 of Film Snobbery Live, and we have a fantastic guest for episode 98. We have a fantastic guest lined up all the way up to episode 100, as a matter of fact. And episode 100 is going to be epic, and we're going to reveal more about that towards the end of the show, along with other stuff that's going on. So the top of the show, what do we got going on? Well, we have our guest, as we always do. Our guest this week is director, editor, just cool guy in general. His name is Brian Crewe. I'm excited to have him on the show. He's another baldy like myself. Although he shaves, it's probably because he doesn't have to. He makes it look cool. I know I can say it because I just know he's sitting right next to me. We're excited to talk about him. We're going to talk about and show an exclusive. I love it when we get to be the premiere of something. We have the exclusive trailer for his new trailer for his short Far that is playing, well, damn near everywhere. If you're a film festival out there, chances are he's playing there. He's going to be playing actually back in my home state of Massachusetts and in Boston shortly. He's going to be playing in Minneapolis. He's playing all over the damn place, and we were actually just talking before the show of like, hey, maybe you should play here, here, and here. So, you know, you never know. You might have more opportunities to catch Far in the very near future. Near? Far? I don't know why. It just struck me. Anyway, so I've seen Far. It's actually a really fun, romantic kind of comedic movie. We're going to talk a little bit about that. He also did another great film, and actually where I met Brian for the first time was at the El Cid here in Los Angeles during a little shorts thing they do there every month, and he was there with his film Electoral Emissions. And Electoral Emissions, again, another comedy, but kind of poking fun at the dichotomy between Republicans, Democrats, and all that kind of stuff. Really cool. Also stars America Young, who is one of our Geeky Awards judges. So really cool to see her there as well, and that's actually where we first met. Electoral Emissions is actually a really just fun times. So so we've got a great show, and after that, remember, for those of you who do watch this show on a weekly basis, hopefully there's more than just me. Remember a couple weeks ago we did a little introduction to a web series called The Ladies and the Gents, and they had their opening night party at the Parlor, and it was fun. And well, The Ladies and the Gents, we're actually, they've now premiered. They've premiered both an episode of The Ladies and of The Gents, and some supplementary content as well. So we thought it would be cool to also maybe show you a clip from the interviews that we actually did with the producers and the directors and stuff there at that event. And so we're going to show you a little clip of that. The rest of it will be up later on. But you know what? All that's later in the show. I want to focus on now. And what's happening now is we are going to show you this exclusive premiere kind of cool thing going on for Far. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Far, Electoral Emissions, Father vs. Son, all the movies that this gentleman has made, Mr. Brian Crewe, and we're going to talk about what he's going to be making in the future. We're going to talk about film festivals. We're going to talk about distribution. We're going to talk about everything that you guys always bug me about. Now I have a filmmaker that's going to sit there, and we're going to ask each other questions, and we're going to go back and forth. We're going to share hair care tips. It's going to be awesome. So stick around, and we'll be right back. Enjoy Far. I know I did. See you in a minute.
So, what are we doing tonight?
Do you like beer?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Far.
What, like Chicago? New York? Europe? Okay, we really need to stop doing this guessing thing.
All right, everyone, we are back, and I'm here with Mr. Brian Crewe. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how's it going, people?
It's good. Hi.
Hi.
It's great to see you.
It's good to see you.
We're
Look
here.
at this. It's like we're like twins.
We are. We went twinsies.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Except I do wear glasses too, and unfortunately,
Well, we gotta use something to
differentiate.
Differentiate. He's the hat. I'm the glasses.
I always thought it would have been the abs versus the ab.
Yeah. Well,
You are a fit human being. I'm sure it's because
Thank
you're
you.
running around to all those film festivals.
That and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple other things, but yeah.
Yeah, Coke and horse.
Well,
It's Hollywood.
yeah, it's the meth.
It's the meth.
Isn't it always?
I could have sworn I saw you on Faces of Meth. That's what it was.
I don't like to talk about that. Well, we're off to a great start.
It's a beautiful thing, right? So, all right. So, Far.
Far.
All right. This is your latest short,
Yes.
but not your first.
No. I mean, I've probably done 10 or 12 shorts in my life. I started out in film school. We would make 4 shorts a semester. Far was an opportunity to re-enter directing. I got kind of sidetracked in producing. I had a friend, Greg Bishop, who had a film called Dance of the Dead, and we were. He was talking about, I need a producer, I need somebody to help me fill in and do this stuff, and I was like, oh, really? And I was like, oh. And before I knew it, he had kind of dragged me into this film, and I was in Atlanta, Georgia, covered in graveyard dirt and zombies popping out of graves, and
You were like the
nuts.
original Walking Dead.
we were. I mean, there's a huge community in Atlanta. And
Yeah.
It's a great city, great tax breaks for those doing budgets, and it's a really fun community. We took over the town of Rome, Georgia. Basically, the town would show up as extras every night to get zombified.
Oh, that's awesome.
And covered in blood. And then there's a great stunt team down there, Black Knights Stunts, with Neil Zontager. And Greg had a great relationship with them from his first film, The Other Side. So they were busy creating and doing all kinds of inventive things. And while we were doing that, I was helping Marion Kerr produce her film, Golden Earrings. I actually left. If you see the film and scene in Dance of the Dead where the zombies pop out of the grave, that was my last day on set. They had 3 more weeks of production. I flew back to LA, and Marion and I started shooting Golden Earrings that next weekend. And then,
Another like suspense thriller, horror-ish type of movie.
Marion's always kind of described it as a Twilight Zone episode.
It kind of is. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and Far is actually, not to jump all over the place, but I know we're going to. Far is kind of a romantic comedy of a Twilight Zone episode.
It's like if Rod Serling had a heart.
If Rod Serling has a heart.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you gotta bring a little song and dance, a little love. It's nice. We did Golden Earrings. We actually finished Golden Earrings about 12 hours before Dance of the Dead wrapped.
Oh, wow.
So we were shooting simultaneously.
That's fantastic. Now, as a producer, that's tough, I'm sure.
It was a little hectic. I was on the balcony of the set for Marion's film, having budget conversations with the financier and kind of relaying between set and the financier while I was getting ready to run to Marion's set, which was very low budget, and like hold the boom and go take shots.
Although I will say that her set reminded me of like Melrose Place, because of the complex type of place she was shooting in.
Right.
Yeah, I was just like, did she just borrow the set from Melrose Place?
She's gonna hate me, but it's just her apartment.
No, it's fine. I assumed as much.
There's 2 locations in the film. One's her apartment, one's my apartment.
But if everyone wants to get a little introduction to Golden Earrings before you make that commitment to either watch it online or buy it, whatever, there is a review of it over on FilmSnobbery.com, so you can go check our older reviews. Just do a search for Golden Earrings, and it will be in there.
Nice, and you can also go to GoldenEarringsMovie.com and see the DVD, and there's a link to the review. Hey,
how about them apples? And we also did a review of Far.
Thank you. Yes, I know. You were the first review.
We were the first review.
And the first one in the trailer.
The first one in the trailer. I saw that.
Yeah.
And now you saw that. Mm-hmm. See, that's a pay it forward type of situation. That's how it is in independent film. And speaking of which, you tend to. And while we appreciate you giving us the little cool exclusive little bit on the trailer, you also kind of tend to work with a lot of the same people and kind of pay it forward. And when you work with someone successfully, you try to bring them in later on for other stuff. And
absolutely, I mean, I think it saves time. Not to be really selfish about it, but when you're making an independent film, you don't have a lot of time.
Correct.
You need to hit the ground running, and you need to maximize what little time you have because you're spending a lot of money to get those situations going. And if you have the same people you've worked with, you have a shorthand. And that really helps. My cinematographer, George Foyt, I met him my first day at USC. He was my college roommate. and he's photographed Dance of the Dead, Father vs. Son, Far, Color Time Electoral Emissions. He's just one of my go-to guys. You know, I have a shorthand. We know how to communicate. We know what we want. And everybody in my crew is like that. Hugh O'Brien is my producing partner right now, and I met him in a class 7 or 8 years ago, and he's a brilliant stunt coordinator and stunt rigger. If you've watched like Pirates of the Caribbean films, he rigged. You know that he was the lead rigger on all those films.
Really?
So if you watch like in the second one, you know, where they're got it's a windmill and they're all like sword fighting on top of it.
Yeah.
He rigged all that.
Really?
He dug trenches. He was on that for like 18 months.
Wow.
So when you're doing independent film, you have access to that kind of
Talent.
It's really nice as a producer, and it's great having. He and I are working on a script right now, and it's great because I'm an editor, a producer, and a director. He's a stunt coordinator and a producer. You have all those people basically between the two of us working on the script at the same time, coming up with ideas. It's like it really helps us know how we're going to do something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming up with ideas, but also keeping those ideas within an indie budget.
Exactly, and that was one of the first things. I had this concept for a script that he and I just wrote, and I had the idea, and he was like, "Oh, well, it needs to be one location. How about you put it here?" And that resulted in what this current script is. It's called Building Time, and I wanted to do a time travel movie, and he's like, "What if we set it in one building?" And then telling it's Die Hard.
Yes.
But the building shifting time around the people. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
We can make that work.
We can do that.
We'll figure out a way to make that happen. So that's our script that we've got, and we're taking out for financing right now and starting to package it.
Well, we actually did get a question already from the audience.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Wow. Hi, Mom.
Nah, I don't know, unless your mom is Sephiroth 93065, and it's an
Absolutely not.
It's an @ question, so I'm guessing it's
Okay.
from Twitter.
No.
Will you and @Marion R. Kerr be working together again soon?
Absolutely. Marion just wrote a World War II short called Liberation. It takes place towards the end of World War II, and we're going to be shooting that next month and a half or so.
Oh, cool.
She wrote it, and she'll star in it. And it's the idea. One of the things I wanted to do as a director, and this is kind of how she and I work with, we have conversations.
Right.
And one of the things I wanted to do was to do something completely different from Far. I wanted to do something with some action, because Far is a romantic comedy. And I wanted to do something a little more stylized. And I kind of threw out, well, how about something during World War II? Because I knew I could tempt her because she loves World War II era.
Well, not only that, she seems to be a real period person, a period piece person. Because we just also reviewed Lines with her and her sister, Vivian.
Yeah. Well, her sister generated that project more than Marion.
Yeah.
Marion came on.
But I can see how it would be easy to bring on your,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you'll have the two of them on at some point, I'm sure, and you can talk about that. But I mean, it's very much a part of who they are and how they grew up and their parents and all that stuff. So I'll let them get into that. I shouldn't speak for them, but yes, they are very
maybe you couldn't speak
diverse.
for them, but maybe we could speak as them. And be like, "Hi, Brian."
We need the wigs.
We do.
We need the blonde
need the wigs. But the good news is, we're already you could fit those
yeah,
easy.
we can fit it in easy. I'm not going to do an impersonation of Marion Kerr. I'll probably just drop into it by accident.
Probably, maybe.
It's very fast. But what
she
we have
is a spitfire, as you would say.
She is. We had just had dinner with Movie Angel, the four of us.
Yes, we did.
And her native language is German, and she got done. And I was driving her back to her hotel, and she was like, "I didn't understand. It's very fast.
Is it?
Very fast." But getting back to the World War II short,
yes.
I had said to Marion, get me something. Let's do something a little different stylistically, and I said World War II. Got her tempted in by that, and what we came up with was something so different from Far because it will have no music.
Right.
When Far is very music dependent.
Right.
You called me out on that in the review.
I did.
And it's also it's got a lot of fight. It has German, English, and French dialogue. And it's just, period piece costumes and sets. So it's a very, very, very different film. And it's great for the diversity. And then after that, I've got Marion writing a feature script for me.
Ooh.
And it's a spy film set in Paris.
Do you like feature? I mean, you did Father vs. Son. Do you like doing features more than shorts, or do you feel that? I mean, what do you like better? I mean, I guess there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages because, I mean, shorts, typically, you might be able to tour with them better on the festival circuit.
Right.
But at the same time, maybe they don't have as much of a life after the festival circuit versus like a feature where, and also I guess budget-wise too. I mean, the expectations are lower, so it's...
Right. I mean, it goes both ways. I prefer features.
Right.
That's always where you want to get to. I think primarily because that's where you're going to earn a living.
Right.
And I think all indie filmmakers, we all want to earn a living making movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Couple.
Yeah. So I think that's always the goal, is that to be doing features and have that become the primary source of income. I'm not looking to be Steven Spielberg. I'd be happy with like a Kevin Smith, not his style so much, but just, hey, he makes movies for under $5 million. They make 30. He makes enough money to perpetuate what he does.
Right. And
I think that's the independent model. And even if those numbers are lower, you're making films for $1 million and they make 5. At least you're returning a profit. I think that's the goal I want to get to.
And that's what every studio wants. Is like studios. I mean, it's to the point where studios are happy with break even.
Yeah.
I mean, if you broke even on something, as long as you didn't lose anyone any money, they're happy. I mean, obviously they prefer a profit, but
yeah. And I think, but the thing is, to get to those features, you got to do some shorts. And what happened to me, like we were talking about at the beginning, was I got stuck in producing the film for Greg Bishop, Marion Kerfer, or Golden Earrings, and then Joe Ballerini's Father vs. Son. And I kind of found myself becoming the go-to guy for the under $500,000 film. I had people calling me, can you do this? Can you help me produce the short? Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? And I was like, this wasn't what, I was an accidental producer. Marion had given me Golden Earrings for me to direct originally. And she was so opinionated about Golden Earrings, and
how diplomatic.
Saying,
but it's her baby.
It's her baby, and it's one of those things. Like when she writes a script for me, it's I come up with the concept, and then she
fleshes it out,
and then she returns it to me, and I then give her notes, and there's a conversation and a back and forth.
Right.
Golden Earrings was written in a vacuum. She wrote that on her own, so it was written 100% with her sensibilities. So it was just conceived. It's her idea. It's like you said, it's her baby. And when I tried to insert myself into that, just my point of view, it collapsed the film.
Right.
And every time I gave her a note, I was like, well, no, I did this because of this. I did this because of this. And I was like, okay, well, you have such a strong point of view on this. You should direct this. And I think when we had the initial conversation, I think she got really scared because I think she thought I was leaving.
Right.
And I was leaving the production. And I was like, no. Because I had a film that had collapsed, that the financing had fallen through, and I had a deposit down on the lights, and it wasn't enough to make that feature with those lights deposit, but it was enough to film Golden Earrings.
Right.
Because we only had a 9-day production schedule. So I had the lights, I had an Avid, said, no, I'm producing, I'm editing, you are directing. And she had the locations and the actors already picked out. So it was like there wasn't much, she'd already directed that much of the film. So
right.
It was just like, she just needed help executing.
Right. Which is still kind of almost what a producer does.
Exactly. We had the separate halves of the puzzle.
Right.
I had the more practical side of it, and she had the kind of creative side of it.
Which kind of goes back to the first thing we were talking about, which is you find those people that you have that shorthand with, that you are able to kind of, you fit into each other's world, well, and it helps, make the production run smoother and cheaper, faster, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. And I was going to say the other thing about that, as you were asking about what makes you want to do features or shorts, and the one thing I like about a project is something that we know we can pull it off and make it happen. And that was the cool thing about Golden Earrings. It was a feature that we knew we could make happen. 6 actors, 2 locations.
All right, cool.
9 days.
We have a couple more questions.
Okay.
I know.
Couple.
Wow. I'm sure they're coming in.
All right.
All right, so John Hoff, 3, asks, what's the best way to get your film into a festival? Besides submit and
make a good film.
Making a good film and submitting.
I think those are 2 things.
Because I have several questions about your about festivals.
Let's dig into festivals.
So, but let's answer John's first, and then we'll get into all mine.
I think the first thing is not be discouraged. It's the problem with film festivals that I find is, and I'm going to assume you're talking. It's different for shorts and for features too. If you're doing a short, like FAR breaks a cardinal rule. It's 24 minutes or 23 minutes long.
Yeah.
It is way too long for most festivals. And I've had very good film festivals tell me, we love the film, we can't program it, it's too long. And I knew that when I got the script, I just couldn't see anything to cut out, so I didn't. Your short should be under 12 minutes.
Yep.
That's really going to increase your chances. I was just talking to an indie filmmaker this morning, Peter Bean, about his film. I'm blanking on the name. It was a really good short, actually. It's 6 minutes. I was like, get it under 5. You're going to get into so many more festivals under 5. And when you put it online later on, you're going to get so many more people to watch it.
Yeah.
So for shorts, shorter is the better. And just submit to look at festivals that are doing films that are like your film.
Yeah.
So you fit into the makeup of their festival.
I'm a big advocate for like not doing the shotgun approach. Like you really should research. I mean, I know it's daunting because there's tons of festivals out there.
Yeah.
But it's literally thousands.
There are.
But the fact is, if you're looking for, you need to do the research.
Well, you need to do some research. The scattergun approach or shotgun approach does work.
Yeah.
And FAR certainly has a degree of that. And part of it was me knowing with this project, like you have to budget for your festivals.
Yes.
You have to know this is part of your production expense. You can't just, it's expensive.
Yeah.
There's submission fees. You want to send them posters. You want to send them postcards. There's travel expenses. If you can, you want to get your cast and crew out there. And it's not just once you're in the festival, it's how to increase your success once you get to the festival.
Yep.
But
that's another thing that I find is really missing is promotion by filmmakers or whoever's there at festivals.
Yes.
I mean, it's nice to walk around, you do the parties and all that, but the key for a lot of these is like, how can we put butts in seats?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I would always encourage people once they're in the film festival to. And I don't know if we answered John's question.
Which was basically how to get into a festival. I think that really was the original thing of just like make a good movie and submit.
Make a good movie, submit, and it's gonna understand. I think the one thing I want to say is it is a law of averages. I think when FAR started out pre-reshoots, and we can go into that because we did reshoot 2 shots after our first few festivals. Mm-hmm. We were doing 1 in 6, and we're more like doing 1 in 4 now. And so there is a there is an odds game.
Yeah.
You can increase your odds, but the first festival we submitted to, I had a friend who was working at the festival. I won't say the festival or the friend, but she loved the film, thought it was great, gave it to her supervisor at the festival, and they're like, "No, they're kissing at the end, and it's happy and happy. No, this is not our festival." And I was like, "I thought it was an in. I had a waiver. I had the whole thing." No, not at all. So you never know who you're going to encounter in the film festival or how they're going to react to your film. It's not objective, it's subjective.
Yeah.
So you can't take it personally. It's like an actor going for an audition. You can do the best audition you possibly could. That doesn't mean you're not doing a good job. You still may not get the part.
Right.
And film festival submissions like that. But once you're in the film festival, you have to if you can go. And I'm facing this right now with FAR. There's a couple festivals I really, really, really want to go to. I'm looking at you, Hill County, Texas. I know you nominated us for Best Short Film, and I really want to go. But it's really hard because I have to miss a day of work. It's about, it's a few $100s to get a plane ticket and get a hotel room and a rental car and do all those things. And I'm really desperate to go to all these things, but sometimes you just can't.
On average, how many film festivals are paying your way to go?
For a short?
Yeah,
none of them.
None of them.
Not a
I assumed as much, but I figured let's put that out there. Now, features though, that could be different.
Features can be a very different thing. I know when Greg was doing Dance of the Dead, he barely had to submit after we premiered at South by Southwest. Although, you want to premiere at South by Southwest, that really helps.
Yeah.
And once that happened, though, he was getting flown to Spain and all kinds of places. They were putting up hotels. It was great. So, features, yeah, and again, the benefits of features. Shorts are like minor leagues. You're the opening act for a rock band. You're not going to get the grade A dressing room or all those things. You're paying your dues. You're on the bus, not taking the plane flight if you're on a baseball team.
I have the 2 questions. One is from the audience. One is from me.
Okay.
But I really want to ask my own question. But I'm going to ask theirs first. So it's
very polite of you.
It's from Notepad 333. Well, it's not about me. It's about the audience.
Is that Danny Rodriguez?
Hope so.
Okay.
I don't know who that is.
I know he's a PA and helped us out in a lot of our films.
Well, he said, "Will there be a sequel to Dance of the Dead?"
Probably not.
Probably not.
It was in discussion, and we shopped it around a little bit, and just nothing quite came together. And I think at this point, zombies are just everywhere.
Yes.
And I think if you're going to do any film in any genre, you should have something new to say. And it's not my place to say this because it's Greg and Joe's film. Joe Ballerini, the writer, Greg Bishop, the director. So if they get something, they get financing, that's cool.
So you almost say, like, as far as you know.
But as far as I know,
no,
they're concentrating on other projects, and they're really cool projects, and you guys are going to like them.
And I almost forgot what my question was, but it literally just came back to me. So so my question was, in going back to you saying, make a short film, it's kind of it can be, it's the minor leagues, but it can lead to other things.
Yeah.
It's helps you when you're touring, blah blah blah. Okay, so question is, you have guys, I believe it's like Dove Siemens, who says, don't make a short film, just make a feature.
Something, and funny, before FAR, I was exactly in that camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what changed your mind, and what made you, I would even say beforehand, kind of believe that?
Beforehand,
Does it just seem amateur or something? Is that it?
No, it doesn't seem amateur. I think this is, and I certainly sometimes feel this way, even with Far having done it, was that you're going to make your money back on a feature. You're not going to make your money back on a short.
Right.
Like I'm working on a couple distribution deals for Far, and I got enough right now to pay my actors their SAG deferments. But I finally did Far as a short because one, Marion Kerr offered to write it for me, and I didn't want to spend any time writing a short. But she made me this glorious offer of just give me a concept, I'll write you a script.
Here's your gift.
Yeah, and it was just like, well, I'm not turning that down.
Yes.
A free Marion Kerr script. If anybody ever gets offered one, take it. It's awesome. And so there was. It took the most painful part of the process out of it for me, which is writing. That my process hurts me, and the other thing was that I realized I needed something to separate myself as a director. That I was known as a producer, that people would approach me as a producer, and that if I was going to go out with Building Time, which you and I were writing at even back then, I knew that I needed something to launch me back into directing.
Right.
And to make signature, oh, he's a director. And Far was a chance to do that. And then that's led to other things, actually. It's been great. It has had a snowball effect of, if it wasn't for Far, I probably wouldn't have done electoral missions. I wouldn't have been hired by Princess Cruises to direct commercials this past year. So it's had a great snowball effect, and now I can say I've been paid as a director, which is very nice going into meetings with studios. It's like, you're not the first person to pay me to direct.
It's really an interesting setup as well, because now you have experience not only as a feature director, but a short director, a corporate director, because Princess Cruise type of stuff.
Absolutely.
Which is that was that a job that you looked for, or did you get offered?
I'm not gonna lie, it's USC Mafia.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
I graduated USC.
Oh, USC Mafia. Oh, USC
yeah.
Mafia. So I thought you said something different.
University of Southern California, there is a mafia, and I think this is probably true for any school or any organization that you might be a part of. I happen to have gone through USC, so USC Mafia. And I have a friend who happens to work at Princess Cruises, and she has seen my shorts, and she has known me for the years. I'm really close with her family, and so it was a natural thing when she had something. We were looking for some outside talent. I got just the guy. And it's one of those things, though. It is. I positioned myself in such a way by doing the shorts and doing the films that when the opportunity came up, she could hire me.
Right.
And I think that's the one thing that, yes, it's part of it's doing your connections, and part of it's putting yourself to work on your own and investing in yourself to make those shorts or those features so that people can turn around and hire you. If you're just sitting there doing nothing, waiting for people to hire you and go, God, I'm so talented, why aren't people helping? Nothing's going to happen. But you have to put yourself on the line. And I think once that happens, then the work will start coming in.
Homeboy walked the line. That's it. No. I don't know. I just felt like saying that. So we have another one. Question.
Oh, God. What's the handle?
Nic Baisley fan.
Nick Baisley fan.
Nick Baisley
Who
fan.
are you, Nic Baisley fan?
You must identify yourself immediately.
Are you outside the building stalking us right now?
I hope not.
We're going to be at In-N-Out Burger after this, so if you're there, say hi. We want to know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
It's a great
Although
mystery.
from what I heard, this person is in my home state.
Boston?
Well, Massachusetts.
April 16th, the Boston International Film Festival. It's Tuesday, 5 o'clock. Far will be playing there. Come up and say hi. I'll
Yes.
tweet a picture so he can see your face.
Yes, do that. That would be
Yes.
awesome.
So,
you're going to
okay.
be there, right?
I'm gonna be there.
You're going to be there, so
Yeah.
that'll happen.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see a really good movie.
Yeah.
So definitely do that.
Shorts program.
Yeah, they actually do a program pretty good flicks over
That
there.
looks good. I haven't seen him yet, but that's good.
The question for Brian from Nic Baisley fan is: does the USC Mafia kill people?
I can either confirm or deny that question.
It kills careers, maybe, right?
I can either confirm or deny.
I want to talk about film school for a second.
Please, I've done it too.
All right, good. So we did this. I produced this podcast a while back. It was directed by Francis Abbey, who's a filmmaker actually out in Washington D.C. area.
All right.
And he went to SCAD, and he was a film school graduate himself, and all that kind of stuff. The name of the podcast was "Things I Didn't Learn in Film School."
There's a lot.
Well, and that's kind of where the question's leading. So the question is did film school really prepare you to become a filmmaker, and what sort of things really did help, in what other things you wish they focused more on? It's a very broad question, I know.
It's a very, very broad question.
But
Just to
Do it concisely, make it funny, go.
Well, I think most film schools have a problem if they throw you off the deep end.
Right.
They shove a camera in your hands and they say, go out and make a movie, work with actors, do these things. And it was definitely more difficult when I was at film school because we were actually shooting on film. There was, and we were editing on film, and we were, have to wear our shots.
Like when you say I had an Avid, like you shot literally on an Avid. Right?
No, we shot. I used a Steenbeck.
Oh, really?
No, we shot on film.
So you were, yeah.
We shot on 16 millimeter film. We had to worry about our exposure and how much latitude the negative had, and whether or not we couldn't see the focus in the monitor. We're talking, antiques by today's standards. So. The great thing about that is, yes, you do have to figure you are problem solving. You're out there in the field working on things. The problem is that you pick up a lot of bad habits, and one of those is how you talk to actors or don't talk to actors. And I kind of am of the advocate, and also it's how to tell stories. And I think they're just relying on the fact that everybody took creative writing classes in high school, and not everybody was paying attention to those in high school.
Right.
And then the third thing that they kind of miss you on is the producing. And I think this is, I'm not only speaking about USC, I also went to a film school in Minneapolis Community and Technical College. I know the program there is very different than when I went there now, and different instructors, but they both had the same thing where it's just like, you can just kind of go out and make a movie, which is fine, but you're not sure how to get locations. You're not sure how to get permits. You don't know how to work with actors or what to say to actors, which is a whole art form in itself.
Sure.
I would really encourage anybody in film school right now to get a minor in business. There's a whole business aspect of filmmaking that I got out of film school and was completely ignorant of, and spent 4 years running around in circles trying to get this one film financed, not knowing what the hell I was doing. And I'm not saying anybody's mastered the art of financing a film. I want to talk to them, but there's a lot of shortcuts you could know in film school going in.
Sure.
So I would actually do at least a year of business before you start your film school. I would do a year of acting classes before you go to film school, and I would do a year of writing courses before you go to film school. I mean, they can all be the same year. You can take those at once, but you need to arm yourself going in there. And the film school there's a lot of people in those film schools. They're only going to help you with so much. You have to, again, be a self-starter and help yourself and arm yourself with those things. I took a year of acting before I went into film, while I was doing my first year of film school, and it was, wasn't great, but at least I knew what an actor prepares was, and I could talk Stanislavski versus Uta Hagen.
Yes.
He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Method acting. Stanislavski. Look it up. It's good.
Yes. Yeah. No, I do. We have another question from Notepad333.
Danny.
Maybe it is. Can you guys recommend a good book on screenwriting? I am having trouble writing my script.
The book, I find I'm not a big fan of screenwriting books.
I find screenwriting books are great for structure.
They are, and I think the best one right now, and you could,
like a Save the Cat.
Save That Cat.
Yeah,
everybody loves that Save That Cat. I've skimmed that book, and I've read my dad's study techniques. He was a professor at the University of Minnesota. Read the first chapter of a book and read the last chapter of a book, and the middle part is just kind of fluff. But what you need to know is in the first paragraph and the last paragraph. And Save That Cat has some great stuff in it. It's really good. I know some people. I have friends who just, if they're watching now, they're laughing at me because they utterly swear by this book, and I'm always like, I find film. If we all write scripts from the same book,
right,
all our scripts are going to be exactly the same.
True.
And there are exceptions, but it's good to know the fundamentals, and Save That Cat is a good one for the fundamentals.
Yes, Save the Cat is awesome. My recommendation for that actually is, believe it or not, I don't go to screenwriting books. Again, I go to screenwriting books for form. Mm-hmm. But if it's ideas or literally structure and stuff like that, I feel you really can't go any better than reading like classic mythology. You literally go and you read like Greek, Roman, Norse, whatever mythology. You find the stories are the exact same stories that have been told for 1,000 years or longer that are being told, or a couple thousand years, several thousand years, whatever, that are being told. Now they're just written better, and you take go
to the source.
You literally go to the source, and you even look at something like what Shakespeare does. I mean, 3-act play. You read plays. I mean, plays are literally 3 acts. It is that structure. If you're reading classical plays, classical literature, stuff like that, you can pick up on how ebb and flow works within a scene and within the context of an act, and then within the context of the entire picture. And that, I mean, that's all where movies came from, with stage shows anyway. I mean, and then it's just like, oh, stage show, then we're going to put it on camera. And then, it became more than what it is now. And again, screenwriting books are really good for form, because that's what the studios and people you work with in the industry are sticklers for, is how something is formatted.
Yes.
Not necessarily, I mean, if they see it looks like shit, they're not even going to read it. If you can at least see if it looks good, then if the story is good, they'll get past that first 12 pages.
Well, I think, the big thing that most studios are looking for is they want the first act, your inciting incident, to happen by, if it's page 20 is late in the game.
Yeah, page 12, right?
Page 12, pretty much. I mean, you have to get the story. You have to jump into the story as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Whatever, and so I think, I really think my dad, like I said, he taught study techniques at the University of Minnesota, and his great thing when writing a paper was always, you set up what your thing's about in your introductory paragraph, which is your first act.
Your thesis.
Then you spend the middle part of the paper supporting that thesis.
Yep.
And then you wrap it up at the ending. And that's pretty much a 3-act structure for a movie. My dad unintentionally taught me film structure.
Yep.
And I think that is the best part. I think the other thing that's helpful if you're having trouble with a script is get a partner.
Yeah.
Partner with somebody. Scripts are meant to be performed. They're meant to be spoken. They're meant to be acted. And I think if you write in a vacuum, it's just you and yourself. And that's why I always write with partners. And like I said earlier, with when I work with Marion or work with Hugh or any of the people I've written scripts with, or America on electoral missions, those are always conversations. Like electoral missions is a great example. She and I weren't even trying to come up with a film. She and I were just having lunch. We hadn't seen each other in a few months, and we were sitting down and going around the world, as we're doing now, talking about all these kinds of things, and we hit politics. And then the next day, she emailed me some dialogue. I was like, what do you think of this? And I had no idea what it was. It was just dialogue. This valet and this mechanic talking to each other. She gave me no context. And I read it twice, figured out what it was, and it's like, oh, well, it'll be helpful if you do this, 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 and this. And then she came back the next day with another draft, and it was a little more filled in. And I was like, well, do this, and you should shoot it like this, and the tone should be this way. It shouldn't be Will Ferrell. It should be played more straight, and no impersonators. And then that went on for 3 days, and then suddenly I was like, I get an email. Do you want to do this? I was like, sure. What do we do?
Is this a thing?
Is this a thing? I'm like, I don't mind doing a short for politics. I even produce it and not direct it. And I was like, do you want to direct this or what's going on? She's like, no, you're directing. I was like, oh, good, then you're acting. and so that it starts with a conversation. So I think if you're stuck with a script, though, sit down with somebody. I was stuck on building time. It wasn't building time then. I just wanted to do a time travel story, and I had all these concepts and characters. And
you were like, I have a Marty McFly and a Doc Brown.
And a flux capacitor.
Yes.
And I sat down with my friend Hugh just to have lunch and catch up, and Slane's like, oh, what if you do this and this? And I've always wanted to see this set of time travel. I wonder why it's not that way. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Suddenly, like, we're closing in islands in Encino, and we have this whole thing mapped out on napkins. And like, dude, you're writing the script with me. I was like, I am. Yes, you are. I was like, never written the script before. You are now.
You better save up for a copy of Final Draft, right?
He already had one. Believe me. But,
nice.
So we were all set. We were all set to go. And what ended up happening was he and I would meet 2-3 times a week, go through the script. I would go back and write the script, and then he and I would have conversations about the story. So his conversations helped jumpstart my writing, so I could crystallize the idea that I had in my head.
Now,
so going through those conversations with people is really helpful if you're stuck.
Speaking of conversations, so I want to talk about social media for a second.
Please.
All right, so
we're using it right now, I think.
We are with Twitter and Facebook, and these people here with the chat room, and I'm literally reading questions off of Facebook.
Please, and hopefully people have not annoyed and actually tune in off of all my tweets and Facebooking.
Well, and you have a lot of tweets in the Facebooking, and that's good, though. And, also, like, you have people like Marion and Andre and all these people. Andre's doing very well right now, by the way. Let's give him a plug. Why not?
Andre Hall is in Georgia right now in Tyler Perry land. He's shooting Love Thy Neighbor, which is Tyler Perry's new TV series. It debuts May 29th on Oprah Winfrey's network. Oh, so not very independent film anymore. He's big time.
No, he's not talking to us anymore.
Oh no, he's actually Andre, Marion, and I will be, for the second time only, do a joint Q&A at the Newport Beach Film Festival here in California on the 27th of this month. Or no, this month.
This month, April.
April. I have no idea what.
You know where we are.
I'm really lost.
That's okay.
It's the math.
It's the math. Social media, though. So all of you guys are on. You're always, out there contributing to other people's conversations. You get tweeted a lot as well. How much do you find that Facebook, Twitter, social media in general actually helps your career and gets you connected to whether it's an audience or people to work with or even people to help, say, fund or produce the projects that you're making?
Hasn't helped in funding yet, but I'm not opposed to it if anybody's listening. But it has helped immensely in all those departments. And sometimes, like, I'll give you the great example. We were doing FAR, and we are trying to get a red camera.
Right.
And I'm financing this out of my pocket. And Marion turned in a script that was going to cost a lot more than I thought I was going to spend on it. And it was a choice between doing a red or using my DP's 5D. And we did use the 5D for certain shots, but really wanted to use the red. George had done a short for Greg Bishop called Birds of Anger, which is Angry Birds meets the Birds. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty good.
I haven't seen that. I kind of want to see that now.
It's pretty badass. And George was shooting that, and then he'd gotten a camera deal from this camera house and said, well, why don't you call them and see if we can get the same deal?
Right.
And I called them and got the same deal. And it sounded like we got the same deal, so I tweeted, yay, we got this deal from this camera company. And then I got a call a few minutes later saying, actually, we don't think we can do that same deal. But a friend of Marion's, who Marion had met because he went to the Indie Spirit Film Festival in Colorado Springs the year after we premiered Golden Earrings.
I know that festival very well.
It's an awesome film festival. I really recommend it. If you got anybody from Indie Spirit's listening, I submitted FAR. Please, I want to get in. I want to come back.
I'll make it a call. I'll make a call after we get out of here.
All right, sweet. Well, I think I've already talked to him.
I know the festival director. It's okay.
I am friends with him on Facebook.
You know.
Well, Golden Earrings won the audience award for best work.
Oh, fantastic!
And it was an awesome festival. If you guys go, it's a mini South by Southwest in Colorado Springs. We got there. They knew all my cast's names, not just their names, but their character names. They named a drink after us at the bar. It's just an amazing film festival. I'm really excited for it. And they moved it from spring to October.
Yes. Yep. Now, and those guys are cool. I was actually really happy when I was traveling.
Completely got off topic.
That's okay. When I was moving out here, I ended up meeting them because I stopped in Colorado Springs. That was really the only point I wanted to make. But
gotcha.
Social media was
social media. Anyways, so we're. I hope somebody's following those. But we got.
That's okay. This is not for them. This is for me.
Okay. But anyways, I sent this tweet out saying we got this deal from the camera house. They called me back a few minutes later saying that I don't think we can follow through in the deal. But Tom Vaughn from Texas, who had played Indie Spirit the year after we had played there with Golden Earrings, saw the tweet, knew Marion because he had asked her if the festival was worth going to, and she of course replied yes. And he was working with the camera house, and he was like. Started tweeting, oh my God, you're working with Marion and da-da-da, and like connected all these little Twitter pieces. And suddenly I was like, and I kind of private messaged him, I don't think it's happening. It's like, no, it's happening. Sure enough, we get the red camera we need, and Tom shows up on the restaurant scene and is an extra in the middle of the night for us the whole night.
That's cool.
And I mean, and that's the kind of, and now Tom's was very good just today. He's from Houston, Texas, and we're playing Houston, Texas, May 20th, World Fest, or not May 20th, April 20th, it's a week from Saturday. And 3 o'clock, and he was tweeting it for me and Facebooking it and inviting all his friends from Houston to come to my festival. So it's a network of people.
And if you guys have not been able to follow half the dates that this guy's spouted out, you can always go over to www.filmcrew.com
or directly to farshort.com.
Or farshort.com. Well, I was just saying, like, all your dates for everything.
They're everything.
But yes, because I made the front page. I was like, wow, look at that.
I'm on here.
You're here.
It's worth my time. I got to promote it, right? I'm going to take an hour out of my day to talk to somebody. I might as well tweet about it and Facebook about it.
I wish so many other people felt that way. No, that's great. Yeah. No, I know. It's
premiering a trailer.
It's premiered. It's now premiered,
which will be on the webpage shortly after we get off of here. But
it will be. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
He's excited.
I'm excited. This is my
excited
face.
Ooh! He's very excited.
All right. He's like,
I'm not going to be able to get. I won't let him talk. I'm just going to keep him laughing.
That's fine by me. It's fine by me. At least look. It just keeps me from crying. You know, it's just like I laugh or I'll cry.
If you get both at the same time, then you're having a good life.
It is, right? I don't know. I don't act.
Keep trying.
Keep trying?
Keep trying.
No. No interest. It's like people are just like, do you want to be a filmmaker? I'm like, no, I don't want to be a filmmaker. You know why? I see what you do. I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
it's so much easier to be back and be like, you know what you could have done better?
My mom's a high school counselor, and she has students sometimes ask me, what would you I'm thinking about going into film. What would you recommend? And I was like, well, if you can picture yourself doing something else, you should go do that.
Yeah.
As fun as it sounds and as cool as it sounds, because we're on the internet and on TV, so obviously it must be cool. But it is a hell of a lot of work, and you get rejected more than you get accepted, and like the Notepad was having trouble with his. I'm assuming that's you, Danny. Is having trouble with his script. It's just like it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of self-motivation. It's a lot of being alone, looking at a screen, just going, something. I need an idea, please.
But that's what social media is for too. Is a little bit of that boost when you need it. That little bit of ego
boost. Yeah.
Ego boost.
I have this many followers. I can't let them down.
No, definitely not. No, believe me, you definitely.
Wait, how many followers do you have?
Too many.
Humble brag. There's a K.
All right. It's 25. We just hit 25,000 this week.
25,000 followers.
Yes.
He was telling us here in the studio how many followers he had beforehand. He's a very important person.
I'm huge in Japan.
I'm huge on Facebook, so
you're huge on Facebook. You are. You have a lot of followers on Facebook, don't you? Or followers for your stuff, don't you?
It depends. They're all kind of scattered around the different films and stuff. But I can always use more. Facebook.com/farshort.
Exactly. And where else you can find you on Twitter? Twitter.com/FilmCrewe.
Correct.
Crew spelled with an E at the end.
Yeah, my last name is Crewe, so I thought I'd steal that.
Yeah, Mr. Brian Crewe. He's the Brian I like. He's a good Brian. I like him. I have Brians in my life I don't like. This Brian, though, is the shit. As opposed to the other one, he's just shit.
He's just shit, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So,
probably getting way off topic with that, Brian.
Don't really care.
Stole your girlfriend? What happened?
Stole my life, my dignity.
Wow.
Months of my...
Can we get a last name? We could put a hit out on him.
From the USC Mafia?
There's lots of people watching right now. If you can give us a state and an address, I'm sure one of them will track him down.
I could definitely do that off camera.
We're getting a head shake from our operator back there.
That's because the operator knows what's what. He knows what's going on.
Okay, I have no idea. I'm just like encouraging trouble from other people.
Yes.
That's basically what the director does. It just encourages other people to do crazy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That's kind of true because he encouraged me to do something crazy, and then I met this guy named Brian. Brian, leave it at that.
The relationship
He was not the working relationship did not go well.
Okay.
I made sure to say working relationship. It's not like
If you want to hear that story, we'll be at the Universal In and Out after this show.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for more on this and other things, we'll be at the Crisis Center down the road, aka In and Out Burger, aka my gym.
There you go. Curls.
Nice. Where else can we find you?
I think we hit the big ones. You can do
Facebook, Instagram, Plurk.
I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I mean, I think that's one thing for independent filmmakers. You should be on every platform possible. I have a Google Plus. I never check it, but people can find me there. The more places, we were joking earlier today in text messages, and he was like, can we put it on MySpace? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it for 4 years, but if you go to my myspace.com/filmcrew, sure enough, I posted it today. So if any of you are watching from MySpace, please let me know. I want to know that actually was a successful post.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
But you should be out on all those things, so people can find you and communicate with you.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. Is I think a lot of it's different for the actors, I know, because actors and especially actresses usually encourage stalking. But for directors and behind the scenes people, it's like you need to be out there and accessible and let people know where to find your stuff. So if you're hiding yourself, don't do it. Be everywhere. Be open.
Do you find that social media is more of a time drag for you for work, or does it take you away from work, or does it contribute to your work?
Oh, it can do both.
It can. Okay.
It can do both. Especially because my day job is editing.
Right.
So that it can be very distracting. I actually have kind of started a rule. If I'm really in an intense edit, I'll just leave my computer at home and I'll turn the phone off.
Yeah.
Because you can. Writing and editing are kind of the same thing. You're writing by yourself. You're creating the final story. You're not interacting with other people. So any kind of distraction on social media is so. There are people on here, and they like me, and they want to know more about me. And we're all filmmakers. We're narcissistic. We want to get those people in with us and get all that attention.
Do you ever get a hater? It could be a critic. It could be anyone. Like, has anyone just been like,
Well, you didn't like Father versus Son.
I did
so
not.
Does qualify?
I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a hater. You converted me back. You brought me back with both Golden Earrings and.
We did Golden Earrings first, but yeah.
Right.
I think it was released second though.
Yeah, I was trying to think like in what chronology did I review everything.
That's okay.
But you brought me back with Far.
Right.
You brought me back with Far in a big way.
No, I haven't really got any haters. Not yet. I don't know. I'm just participating in this. I have no idea what the reaction is out there. I could have a ton of hate mail on my phone right now. I want to check. But
you're like, it's all from Nic Baisley.
It's all from Nic Baisley fan. Stay away from him.
He's mine.
Yes.
No.
I'm gonna get to Boston. There's gonna be a hit out on me there.
And that's the place where the hit will take.
Exactly. I'll be the subject of Ben Affleck's next film.
I was going to say, I think we've got our mafia is a little bit more intense than the USC mafia.
I'm not even holding that competition. I cede. Although I have some USC mafia people in Boston that are coming out to the screening. So.
Oh, fantastic! And
we spread far and wide. They're coming out in Houston too.
Do you like to travel?
I do like to travel. Actually, that was funny. We did the Berlin Independent Film Festival, and I had never been to Berlin before. And as cool it was to see my film in Berlin, East Berlin no less, which was just kind of mind blowing. I really almost forgot that I was playing the festival. I was so wrapped up in just seeing the city and the sights, and I would take these. They have these awesome walking tours there where they give you experts, like people who actually live. Like the first day, my expert was a guy who had been stationed in West Berlin, and then West Berlin, and then he had done covert work in East Berlin, and had been a translator in Nuremberg. So he just knew. He was just like one of those guys. Like if you have to be sure you want to know the answer to this question because he will take a half an hour in the freezing cold on a Berlin street and answer it for you while 20 people in the tour group wait to answer it. But you're walking around and like there are bullet holes in the side of this building from World War II when the Russians came in, and you're standing in a room where Hitler stood, or you're standing in the spot where they burned the books. And it just was mind-blowing. And I kind of forgot that I was there for the film. I was just enjoying the thing. But I think that's one of the cool things is as a filmmaker and a storyteller, you have to be kind of a reservoir for everything, all these experiences, so you can spit them back out. So I think traveling is a huge part of that.
I mean, you go to Germany and you go do these walking tours, and does it ever register for the people who are doing the tour, giving the tours, the tour guys, that they're just very uncomfortable? And you're just like, show me where they killed all the Jews, and they're just like... and I'm from Hollywood, by the way, but I want to know where they killed the Jews. And they're just like, that was a long time ago.
Thankfully, nobody, the tour guides are actually, like I took a Third Reich specific tour, so they're taking you to those spots specifically. They know their audience. You don't have to say that. They know what the audience wants to see. They want to see those historical spots. I mean, and we saw other things that were, from Frederick the Great's era, or back in the 17th century and stuff like that. We saw some amazing things, but...
He was just pretty okay. I mean, I think they were exaggerating with Frederick the Great.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was kind of impressed. I actually liked that he was trying to bring diversity to Germany in contrast to what Hitler was trying to do a few hundred years later.
Yeah.
We
will not have any of that?
No, this is not Frederick the Great. We will tear that down. All of a sudden, we're on Hogan's Heroes. The funny thing I saw was the people who live in Berlin who were passing the tour groups. And they kind of just stood there and kind of was like,
do they look at you guys the way that everyone here looks at like the Hollywood bus tours?
A little bit.
Yeah?
A little bit. At one point, I looked at one of the guys who was like kind of like, shaking his head at the tour group, and I kind of stepped to the side and said, how's he doing? He's like, he's getting most of it right. I think it was more of a Russian accent, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Right. But the funny thing is, what I loved about Germany is that, and this isn't to be actually serious, was that they have a huge responsibility to what happened in their country. This is just something I learned that going there was that like they put the Holocaust. There's a Holocaust memorial for each one of the groups that was attacked during that period, and the Jewish one is right by the government. So if you go to work for the German government every morning, you have to pass that.
Wow. And
you have to know going to work that morning that what you do could lead going back to fascism or lead to a Holocaust. When they, at the end of getting into history.
How fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Like on an Alan Rickman scale, like how fucking depressing is that?
It was bad. Yeah. Well, I mean, they had all those sanctions levied against them in 1818 and at the Treaty of Versailles after World War I, and they were like, in the treaty is like, you're probably not going to pay this off till 1987. And I took a little break in World War II. They finally paid it off in 2010.
Really?
They paid it off. It took nearly 100 years, but they paid it off. So I came out of Germany with a huge respect for Germany, and I thought it was such a healthier way to approach history, was to have those monuments, to leave the bullet holes in the building, to leave the history there, to leave the scars kind of visible, which is so not what we do in this country.
No, we cover that shit up.
We paint that up and put flowers on it really quick.
Well, I mean, like, even when the Canadians came down and we had the Troubles for like half a minute, you know, we're like, let's just paint that shit white.
Yeah.
You know, and this is
Way
how
off film here, though.
and this is how we bring this all back to film, because then you are making the World War II film. So did you get a lot of inspiration for the stuff that you're going to be incorporating into that?
Yeah, Marion had already written the script.
Okay.
And it takes place in France, not Germany.
Right.
But it was just cool getting into the mindset.
Okay.
Just the mindset of not just World War II, but what it's like to be in a city under siege. Because Berlin at the end of the war was under siege by the Russians.
Right.
The Russians were coming in, and there was just, you know, basically the old men who couldn't go to war and were left to kind of defend the city, kind of the diehard Nazis. And, you know, it's a very unique mindset where you just have, and it's a mindset that interests me. It's part of building time too, of where you get to that kind of, I think filmmakers need to have this, which is where I guess I relate.
Right.
Is you have to have that single-minded of purpose. That no, this thing is happening. Whatever this is going to happen. This will get done, and no matter what. And I think, you know, if you're a part of the resistance in France, and this is kind of what interests me about Marion's script, is you get up every morning and there are Nazis going up and down your streets. They're giving concerts in your parks.
So it's like it's almost like, it feels like the indie Inglourious Bastards in a way.
Yeah, I mean
the French part.
It was funny. My producer, when he read it, says, "Okay, what kind of World War II film are we doing? Like, what's the tone?" And he was like, "Is it Inglourious Bastards or is it this?" And I was like, "Nah, it's not Inglourious Bastards." And as much as I love Inglourious Bastards, it's probably my favorite Tarantino film. It's a very particular kind of violence that Quentin does. You kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I want to go the other direction, which is more the kind of the Francis Coppola way. Whereas, like, I love what Coppola says about violence in The Godfather, that he's kind of repulsed by violence, so that if he's going to do violence in a movie, it has to be repulsive to watch.
It has an effect on it. He wants to have that visceral effect on the audience. I understand.
Whereas you kind of Tarantino is kind of like, yeah, this is scale, yeah, cool. You're kind of enjoying the violence,
right?
You know, that's I think the deadly thing about using Nazis, and sometimes it works really well, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Nazis are such great villains that you can kind of do anything you want to them. You get a clean slate. You can kind of do whatever. It's like Taken did the same thing with child molester. It's like, child molester, kill that fucker, man. And do whatever that. Liam Neeson, go after that guy and beat him to the ground, because you have that perfect bad guy that's so awful that you can just do anything you want to. And I think, depending on how you use those bad guys in movies,
the real, like, the villain.
Yes.
Like, where, like, the audience is actively rooting for you to hurt them.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, and you can do some sick shit to those people, and that's okay.
And it's like, I would say child molesters and Nazis have a very common frame of reference for people.
Yes, and this is coming from two skinheads. Just kidding.
White power? No.
Please, no.
Not at all. No.
Have you seen some of my videos?
Yeah, and they came off really racist. I don't know why.
God, I hope the Prop 8 video we did a couple years ago didn't come out that bad.
No hate.
No hate on hate. I have a picture on my website.
I want to do one of those.
It's good. You should recommend it.
One of those little no hate campaigns.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah, it's great. You come and donate to the thing at like a hotel where they have one of their events, and you can have one of those pictures taken.
Sweet.
Had it done like 3 or 4 years ago. Marion and I had done a short in reaction to Prop 8 called Choice, which you can watch on choiceshort.com.
I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, there's a theme. Well, Choice is a little expensive as a .com. But, that's one of the other things, and you said why sometimes I might do a short, and electoral missions and choices are good examples of that. Is sometimes I just want to say something and I want to say it really quickly, and a short's a good way to accomplish that. And if I want to be topical, I'm sure I can always go back to the short. And I also happen to have, the nice thing about having Michael Huffington produce Father vs. Son was his ex-wife is Ariana Huffington, so when I did Choice, he got me a blog account at the Huffington Post.
Nice.
So I can post anything I want on the Huffington Post whenever I want.
All right. So well, I'm just going to redirect my RSS feed for FilmSnobbery to you, and
well, I've only posted there twice.
Damn it!
I try not to abuse it.
Abuse it? No kidding. No kidding.
I have to make movies and cost. Oh, we're getting minutes.
No, we're getting minutes just because of what time it is.
Oh, okay.
I don't really give a shit. But everyone else here I know gets tired and
Right.
they get
There's
all
one person
cranked.
being paid.
Yeah, there's one person being paid.
They're on the
It's not
clock.
even me. And yes, and
Oh wait, it's not me either.
No,
I forgot that.
No, we waived your appearance fee.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's happening.
Well, it's been fun.
But it has been fun.
That's-
So you gonna hang around for a little bit?
We're going in and out.
Yeah, we're going in and out.
getting
So
some
you
burgers.
can hang out. I gotta go wrap up the show.
Okay, you could do that.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen,
I'll mock you from the sidelines.
Mr. I know you will. Mr. Brian Crewe, and we're going to be right back.
And if you want to ask me any more questions or follow-ups, just tweet me at FilmCrewe, FilmCrewe, and let me know what's up.
because he'll be sitting here waiting for me to finish the show.
I'm having panic attacks. I haven't checked my phone since this whole thing. I'm really nervous right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going through withdrawals. It's bad.
It's bad.
So
it's just
get the hell over there in the chair so I can check my phone.
all right. Well, what we're gonna have to do first is we're gonna have to show you all these beautiful folks out there this little ad from this place. I don't know. You might have heard of it before, called Hot Pixel Post Production.
Sounds
It
familiar.
just happens to be where we are, and it's
pretty hot.
It's hot. It's hot, and the pixels are just they flaming. I don't know. But if you guys are out there, we're going to talk more about it anyway later. But if you're looking for really good post production, coloring, sound mix, 5.1 sound mix, the whole 9 yards, visual effects, this place
Flaming
is the place.
pixels.
Yeah, everything. This place is the place to go. I mean, hell, even if you just want to come in and get a bottle of water and hang out with us, it's a place to go. Just fucking
Toss.
movie.
Finish the toss.
Finish the toss.
I'm an editor. Cut this shit out.
No. Actually, if you edit the episode, you'd be like, I get
There's
back.
two editors.
Like, it's
the girl on
5.
camera over here is an editor too. She wants to cut this.
She
Come on.
does,
Just
yeah.
get to the toss.
The show's
the
literally
poor man's
5 minutes.
hand is shaking behind the camera.
Well, that's just because he's old and he's high on coffee. All right, fine. Hot Pixel Post Production ad. We'll be right back. See you in a minute. Okay. And that was our trailer for Hot Pixel Post Production. I mean, come on, edit, color timing mix, audio mix, the whole 9 yards. Just use them. They're awesome. They're a great tool, great company to work with, and a wonderful sponsor of ours. So show your support for us by supporting them and give them your work because you won't be sorry. It's good stuff right here in Universal City. So yeah, all right, so rest of the show. Cool stuff. All right, so here's what we got going on. First thing is, I want to throw a shout out. The call for entries is open for the Orlando Film Festival right now. So if you're a film, short, feature, animation, whatever, if you're a filmmaker who has a film, like Mr. Brian over here, he's coming over. That's why I love having guests in studio. This is what your dollars have gone to for us to move out to LA, so I could have him come in behind me and go, hi. So what was I going to say? Shit, now you threw me off. Orlando Film Festival, submit there. They actually have, it's a festival I've been to a few times now. We did a documentary about it called Nic and Jerry Get Off, OFF, Orlando Film Festival, and that you can go check out at, and I think it's nandjgetoff.com. And so if you want to learn a little bit more about the festival before you submit, it's actually a really good kind of doc that kind of tells you what festival life is like if you've never even been to a festival. So definitely do that. It's cool. Also, you'll be able to see me at the end of the month over at the First Glance Film Festival. I'll be doing the red carpet interviews like I do every year for the most part. And it's going to be in Hollywood at Riley Studios. I believe it's April 27th through the 29th, 28th through the April. Tell me. 26th through the 26th to the 28th. I knew it was the end of the month. 26th to the 28th. The 26th to the 26th to the 28th. Just come by and see some movies. Say hi. Just I don't care. Spend money and buy a ticket. It's one thing I've always enjoyed about working at the First Glance Film Festival is that the programming has always been solid. It's always been good films. A very, very high percentage of their films go on to get mainstream or other types of distribution. So it's just a really good festival to experience. Especially if you're a filmmaker still kind of coming up or still learning, see some of the films that see what other people are doing. It's just a good gateway drug type of festival. So check that out, the 26th to the 28th, and we'll see you there hopefully. What else do we have going on? I got stuff going on. Fuck it, I'll remember after this. So we also have. My brain is going a million miles an hour at the moment. So we have the ladies and the gents. Okay, so let's talk about the ladies and the gents for a second. So these guys had their premiere party a while ago where they showed kind of a teaser of their web series. It's actually 2 web series, the ladies and the gents. They showed a teaser. We showed the teaser here on the show as well, and it was a really, really good time. One of the things I was able to do while I was there was I was able to interview the producers of the. Bless you, Amy. We were able to interview the producers of the show, and it was fun. It was fun, and what I want to do now is I'm not going to show you the whole interview. I want to show you a clip of the interview. The rest of the interview will actually be online later tonight. So enjoy this little bit of the ladies and the gents interviews with, I believe it's Tanya Einen and Rob Paget. Stick around, be back in a minute. I'm Nic Baisley from FilmSnobbery. I'm here at the premiere of the Ladies and the Gents. Little web series, 2 web series as a matter of fact. And I'm here with a lady and a gent as well. It's a very busy party. This is actually, we're kind of towards the tail end right now of this party, and it's starting to wind down. It's the only time I've been able to talk to you guys. And who are you?
Hi, I'm Tanya Einen, and I am obviously a producer of the ladies.
And I am Rob Paget. I'm obviously also producer of the ladies. No, I produce the gents.
So, real quick.
It's been a long night.
It has been a long night, but you guys had such a great turnout tonight. Tons of people from around the web series world come here to, kind of, either had something to do with the project or just to show appreciation for the work you guys are doing. So, how long did this project take to get off the ground?
We actually started on the project in January 2012, so just over a year. Stephanie and I got together, and she had this idea and couldn't figure out how to film it, and I said, I know someone that can design and build sets, and I volunteered Rob, and then Rob went, well, if I'm building a set for you guys, then I should do a show, and therefore the Gents was born.
And is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, because it was originally just going to be the lady, like just in a ladies' room, and I felt kind of left out actually, and I was thinking, well, if I'm going to build the sets, and then it literally took me 3 days to go. I could do the men's side, like I could do the gents, while they do the ladies, and then we'd have both sides. It seems like such an easy idea. It took me 3 days to come up with, so I feel kind of stupid.
Let's talk a little bit about the concept of what the Ladies and the Gents is. It's not just one long series. It's actually 2 series that kind of complement each other. What is the Gents about?
The Gents is about gents. It's really just about the experiences that men have in bathrooms at clubs or ridiculous craziness. It's anything that guys could think of. It's all like with the ladies. It's all men writing and directing the gents. I mean, we had female actors in some of the roles, but it's all men. We wanted to keep that kind of masculine perspective. And not that we're the most masculine men in the whole world.
I saw way too much eye contact in those clips.
There was a lot of eye contact. That's true, because a show about people doing this would be boring. I mean, that could literally be the whole show.
You ever want to freak out a guy at a bathroom stall or something like that? You just come up, give him a little shoulder rub. That's
I freak him out. I think you might get punched.
now when it comes to the ladies, and I'm assuming it's pretty much just the flip side of what the gents is. What is the biggest difference between how ladies are in a bathroom versus guys?
I think it's a complete difference. I think women are really social. We're interactive. You'll talk to strangers. Oh, I love your dress. Oh, I love your shoes. You know, oh, I have this shitty date going on right now. I mean, women are really like this sense of community in the bathroom. And I think men are more like, you know, get in and get out and don't look at someone else's penis. And I think women are more like, what do you got going on? Let's talk. And so it's been really fun to show that side of it and show like some real experiences people have had in the ladies' room.
Now, you said you designed the sets, right?
Yes, I designed and built the sets with the help of Avi, Steve, and Zoe, our wonderful DP. Yeah.
What was kind of the challenge of getting the set right in terms of realism?
That was the challenge was to how much realism in the budget we had. I mean, there's no tile, we have toilets, but our urinals are buckets because we couldn't afford real urinals because they're expensive. And we couldn't mount them to the cheap walls that we built. You know, they wouldn't hold them. So we had to find sort of compromises like that, clever solutions. And we also needed to make the bathroom much, much larger than it would normally be because we got to fit everybody in there and move around. That was the biggest challenge.
All right. Well, we're going to have more interviews, more stuff with the rest of the other producers, and possibly director of one of the episodes as well of Ladies and the Gents. So I want to thank you guys for coming. You guys having a great time. You guys look tired, which is a great sign.
This is the biggest premiere we've ever had.
I can't believe I have a voice. Yeah. Like, I've talked so much tonight.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And we're looking forward to it airing and being out there in the world. And you guys have so many episodes that are coming out, and other content. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. So thank you very much. There I am. It's me. Hi. Welcome back. Would you like some Colt 45? Perhaps a roofie colada? Welcome back. That was Ladies and the Gents. We had a little technical difficulty there, but it wouldn't be an episode of FilmSnobbery Live if there wasn't a difficulty. So here's the deal. Drink. We all know that there's a drinking game for FilmSnobbery out there. We've done it. So you do it. Drink. Get drunk. Have a good time. Take your clothes off. It's all good. It's all good. It's all right. It's just us here. I got nothing. I got nothing. I got the close of the show. So we're gonna wrap this up because I want to go get some In-N-Out burger. I think Brian just wants some In-N-Out, and I don't. That's what you get. So and Amy just wants to be away from all these men. So. Yeah, I guess we're going to be going. So I want to say thank you. I got some sponsor plugs I got to do. Obviously, thank you to Hot Pixel Post Production for having us here, as I always do. Definitely check them out here at Universal City here in California. It's awesome. They do everything post-production-wise. Yeah, that's them. All right, so we also have Sony. I want to talk about Sony for a second. So Sony Vegas Pro 12 is what I prefer to edit on, only because I am apparently too frittata to do Final Cut. Because I tried to last week. Amy can attest to this. I was like, I need help. I have this thing. It's kind of quick. Just need to make like 1 or 2 cuts. I gave it to her, and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell to do with this. I'm looking at Final Cut, and I was just like, I got nothing. So she was just like, you just have to do this, and then you do this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, that looks really hard. I'm like, with Sony Vegas Pro, all I do is I drag my stuff over, I capture my footage, I drag my stuff over, and it works. I make my cuts, it's real easy, it's what I learned to edit on, and you know what? I don't care what anyone says, I'm going to continue to edit on it, because fuck Final Cut, alright? That's what I'm saying right now. You heard me, you said it, Avid, fuck you too, I don't know. Adobe Premiere, alright? Up yours. I don't know, I've got nothing. I really like Sony Vegas Pro. They've always been very good to us. They were our first sponsor 5 years ago, and they will continue to be our #1 sponsor. Probably not much after this, after I've said fuck you to everyone else. But That's how good they are. I would think they would like someone to evangelize with that kind of passion. We're just like, yes, fuck our competition. Absolutely. We would say it ourselves, but it would look dickish. So Sony Vegas Pro. I'm sure I've got something else. Submit to the Geekies, the Geeky Awards. Their entries ends April 30th. And they've got all the geeky categories and stuff like that. You've heard me talk about it on other episodes, but you definitely should check it out because I am a host, not a host, I am a host, but I'm a judge for them as well, and that's going to be fun to see all your stuff. I can't remember the specific categories I'm judging, but either way, it's geeky. I don't know. I'm not short film. I know who short film is. It's someone... One-shots and web series and one-shots. Oh, that ought to be interesting. Okay, so I can't wait to see your one-shot and your web series. Just gonna put it all up in my eyeballs. I'm gonna hear it with my earballs. It's gonna be awesome. So I want everyone to join us next week. Next week we have a fantastic guest. She's running an awesome Kickstarter campaign right now. Definitely, you can check through our feed or go to Kickstarter.com. Check it out. It's Andi Timoner. She's going to be on. She's going to be talking about what she's up to. I had interviewed her. It was a real kind of odd, like online, like a Skype interview almost, actually, that we did for her movie We Live in Public that was a couple years ago, and now she's got this new movie she's working on, this new project, and I want everyone to be a part of it. So we're going to have her on. She's going to talk about it. We're going to just talk about filmmaking in general because she's a documentarian. I'm interested in documentaries. So we're going to have a talk with her about all of that kind of stuff. It's going to be fun. Definitely join us for that. That's next Thursday. Still same time, same channel type of deal. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over at FilmSnobberyLive.com. And that's the end of the show, I think. You can always follow us, obviously. You can follow us at twitter.com/FilmSnobbery, Facebook.com/FilmSnobbery, Instagram.com/FilmSnobbery, Pinterest.com/FilmSnobbery, FilmSnobbery.com. I also put a real shout out to, we have a bunch of new writers on the site that we just kind of brought on, and I'm really, really excited because we're starting to kind of plow through reviews again and I'm excited because we're now actively accepting submissions again, and it's great to read them, and I just want to let all of our writers that do watch this show, hopefully like one of you does, that you're all doing a really great job so far. I'm looking forward to it. We have a brand new horror column coming out. It's that's out right now. It's got a couple of posts about it called Psychopompous. It's an H.P. Lovecraft reference. And then we have, just some general reviews and stuff like that from some people all over the world are writing for us. It's fantastic. We have people in England. We have people across the United States. Some as close to me as San Diego, and others over in Boston, New York, the whole nine yards. So I'm really, really excited at where Film Snobbery is right now. And like I said, we are approaching our 100th episode with our guest. I definitely want to pimp this because Andi is 99, and who do we have for episode 100? We have Jay Chandrasekhar coming up. So I'm if you don't recognize the name straight up, he's with Broken Lizard. We had interviewed a couple of years ago Eric Stolhansky from Broken Lizard. Well, now we have Jay Chandrasekhar. He directed Super Troopers, and he's done a lot of TV, and he's also worked with them on every other project. Obviously, they have. He's a really fun guy. I met him recently, and I was just like, "You please do the show," and he's like, "Yeah, totally." So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the 100th episode of Film Snobbery Live. I hope you all tune in. That said, we're all hungry, and she's like ready to pass out. So it's mostly because it's just a boring show. I know. I know, Amy. I'm sorry. I apologize. Just because it's bad. It's bad. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that said, everyone, we'll see you next week. Good night.
Yeah.